Today's podcast is brought to you by Audible.com. Get a free audiobook download at www.audibletrial.com/comedy podcast network. Over 100,000 titles to choose from for your iPhone, Android, Kindle, or MP3 player. Hey there, everybody. Welcome to their Sports
podcast. I'm Joel Anderson.
I'm Jordan Pomaville.
And joining us, as always, is the sports outsider, Phil Ranta.
That is a terrible accent.
I don't like that voice.
It's too loud. And
I'm
it
trying
sounds
to
like
do
there
stuff,
is a
okay?
cheese grater in your throat.
It sounds like you got one of those, I used to be a smoker from those commercials.
No, but that's all monotone.
Right.
It'd be like,
I used to be
welcome to the sports podcast.
No, don't do an example of it.
Yeah,
Don't
you're
do
like
an example
you're
of
like
it.
Dennis Leary ripping off. You're Joel Anderson ripping off Dennis Leary ripping off Bill Hicks.
Guys, I'm trying to promote myself as a voice actor. So
Well,
I'm
this
trying to
is
show
a
my
sports
range.
podcast, so that makes sense.
Yeah, there's just, I feel like
Sports comedy podcast. A couple guys, comedians in Los Angeles know a lot about sports. I'm Phil. I'm the outsider. I don't know much about sports.
yeah. We established that in the intro. I guess no one understood because I was using my weird voice.
Yes, that's why I decided to retell that story.
No, it was really good. When you don't get it the first time, you got to hit the nail on the head.
That's my elevator pitch. That's what I do when I go into big offices. I go into Fila, and
Yeah.
I'm like, "Hey, sponsor our podcast."
Fila?
Yeah.
You went on to Fila?
No,
The
if I
sports
did,
good
if I went to
Oh.
Fila, I'd be like, "Look, this is what we are. We're a sports podcast. Two guys, comedians, know a lot about sports. Me, sports outsider, don't know much about sports." They go, "Have some soccer shorts."
It's like when you're hammering in a nail and you don't hit the nail in the head and the nail sort of bends a little bit and you're like, crap. And then you just keep hammering the nail. And even though it's not like a clean in,
No,
it bends
that's
over,
what you do,
hammer
Joel.
it
This
all the
describes
rest of the way
Joel's
in.
form of comedy.
Tim Tebow, update, watch, update.
Tim Tebow, update, watch, update. Alert, brought to you by...
Mentos, feel the rush in your mouth. I hate Joel's voice.
That's
Hey,
weird,
how
that,
could they
weird that the
possibly-
drop said that.
Yep, it is.
Yeah.
They knew.
We got a new drop guy.
Oh, I know.
That gravelly voice.
I hate
Except
it.
he did an alert when he was, so he's fired immediately. He can never come back.
You guys gonna make me fire another drop guy?
No, he's already fired. Hey, go away. Oh, he left. He's gone forever.
Tim Tebow
Dan
turns
was
down...
Okay, fine. No, I'm fine. It's all right.
Hey, Joel, we're killing that bit. Tim Tebow turns down $1 million to play 2 games for Moscow Black Storm.
He's insane.
What?
Subheadline, no news story necessary, as headline sums it up nicely.
Right, yeah. We
Turned
know
down
everything.
$1 million. He's not gonna get $1 million.
He
Bucks
got
from anybody else.
he was offered Mikhail Zaltzman, who owns the Moscow Black Storm, told our Sport that the 26-year-old has turned down a $1 million offer to play 2 games for his team. Hey, this guy was going to let him play QB. What
Whoa.
gives?
No
what
one
gives?
in America would let him do that.
No, this guy was going to let him play QB. He gets to see the sights. He could see that
Yeah.
one multicolored cathedral.
Also, pretty much anybody who ever played in the NFL has got to be a big get for the Russian football league.
Yeah, the Moscow Black Storm you're talking about.
Right, exactly.
Anyway, this is what Mikhail Zaltzman said.
Unfortunately, agents of Tim Tebow turned down our proposal. I hope that it's Tebow's agent's fault that the contract wasn't signed and Tim couldn't do anything about it.
Zaltzman had previously said that Tebow showed serious interest in the offer, and he seemed hurt that he was turned down.
It was his decision. It's very upsetting. And in this case, we don't want him on our team anyway. We are looking for people who pursue their dreams, not the ones who talk about it.
I didn't get a word of that. I didn't get a word of that.
If it was his decision, it's very upsetting, and in this case, we don't want him in our team anyway. We are looking for people who pursue their dreams, not ones who talk about it.
Thank you for saying it not like a drunk Greek person.
Just hammering that nail in.
Zaltzman basically was saying, walk the walk, talk the talk, Tebow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Chance to play quarterback.
what's a more real offer? The LA Kiss Arena Football Team League or the Moscow Black
Take
Storm?
Moscow. We're all part of a world community.
$1 million for 2
Yeah.
games?
God, I would
And
do
here's-
anything for $1 million. Anything.
As a per game check, that's pretty good. Like,
Hey, Phil, can you do the math on that one?
$500,000 a game.
Solid.
Yeah.
Peyton Manning makes about like 20 mil a season for 16 games. Say you throw the playoffs in, if you're generous, that's about $1 million a game.
No, independent of
Peyton
what other
Manning.
people make, that's $500,000 for like 3 hours of work.
Yep.
It's crazy.
You probably got to go to practice.
Nah, screw practice. Practice is for you-know-whats. I remember that from an earlier podcast.
Practice for you? What?
Yeah, there was somebody said practice is for. And
All
then
right.
Said something offensive.
But when people pile on, people really pile on. And if you updated your Yahoo Sports app, you may have noticed the jab.
is that the one with the exclamation point?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a search engine.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. They're also. They
I like
make
that.
content.
That's how he says Yahoo. I've always.
Well, you guys ever watch E?
Yeah, I do.
Anyway, if you updated your Yahoo Sports app, you may notice the jab at Tebow. The update information reads, new breaking news alerts, push notifications about the most important stories in sports. So probably nothing about Tebow.
Oh,
That's what a software update said.
It's true though.
It's absolute-
like he's not even a professional athlete right now.
He's reaching Anna Kournikova levels of.
yeah.
Sexiness.
Well, no, and not
Sexiness?
even that
Sexiness.
bad.
he is a good-looking guy.
He's a
Like, at least with
good-looking
Anna
gent.
Kournikova, you'd be like, everyone was like, she can't play tennis. And you're like, yes, but the source of her celebrity is abundantly clear.
Well, she did bra ads. It was kind of
Yeah.
obvious.
Yeah.
Though, I guess in Tebow's case, he did have a lot of accomplishments as a football player.
He did.
Won 2 national titles. Let's not forget that. But
Tim Tebow, update, watch, update, alert.
Tim Tebow, update, watch, update, alert.
Brought to you by...
Brought to, damn it.
Mentos, feel the rush in your mouth.
What do we got on the show today?
I don't know.
Well, I can tell you.
No, I do know one. We've got Kris Humphries is
Kris
back.
Humphries
Kris-
back in the house.
Yeah,
He's
Kris-
previewing the 2013 TV fall lineup, the new shows.
I don't
Yeah.
even need to say anything more. You guys got
Friend
it.
of the podcast, and we have booked. Let's see, there was recently a brawl on the team bus of the Baltimore Ravens. Police reports.
I
said
don't know that
there
it was a team bus. I believe it was a party bus.
Yeah,
I
it was a
thought.
party
sorry,
bus.
sorry.
It was somebody's birthday.
Yeah, party bus, someone's birthday. There was a
Baltimore
brawl.
There-
Stripper on board.
Whoa. Did they have a little
reported by
sign
the
in the back
police.
window that said stripper on board?
Yeah, so we have that stripper here. What was her name again, Phil?
Her name is Glory.
Glory.
She just goes by one word.
That's
Glory.
it, Glory.
Yep.
That's actually a pretty good stripper name.
Yeah.
Does she take her clothes off
I almost
too?
made a Joel joke, and I'm glad I didn't.
Yeah,
I was
it's a
going to
good
say
thing.
until she gets old. Ugh.
All
All right. And then we're also going to do a weird sport, Phil,
You're goddamn right we're gonna.
and news.
News on the Sports podcast with Jordan, Joel, and Phil.
News.
Yep.
Oakland Raiders reveal new youth mascot. In correlation causation news, death of Al Davis does not equal death of bad ideas in Oakland.
Don't get it.
Yeah,
He was
I'm
the
not gonna
former
say-
owner in
Yeah.
For the Oakland Raiders. You got an opinion
and
on
he
that?
did a
Yeah,
lot of
no opinion. Don't
really
get it.
stupid stuff.
His name is the Raider Rusher, a costumed youth ambassador who is straight out of an animated cartoon series called NFL Rush Zone.
Really? There really is an animated
There's
cartoon?
an animated cartoon series. It's co-produced by Nickelodeon and the NFL, and it's a kids show designed to show the lighter side of chronic head trauma, with plot lines like a mean teacher changes the rules of dodgeball, and none of the characters have fun playing the watered-down game. Mood Swing Maxwell uses his extreme emotions to win first place in a drama competition.
Ooh.
And Forgetful Grandpa gives his grandchildren Christmas money 10 times in one day. That episode almost ends in tragedy. Where are my car keys? Oh, right, I'm driving over a cliff. But because it's a cartoon, Forgetful Grandpa doesn't remember to look down, so the car doesn't plummet but guides safely down for a landing in a cotton patch.
That's funny. I thought Nickelodeon already had a cartoon about head trauma called SpongeBob SquarePants.
Well,
Because the sponge is how the brain of an NFL player looks.
Right, exactly. It's just mushy. You can squeeze it with your hands. It's like a baby scalp.
Yeah.
Squeeze,
We're
squeeze,
all
squeeze,
familiar
squeeze.
with baby scalp.
Right?
Yeah.
You guys have clearly never squished a baby scalp.
not as often as I'd like.
Yeah.
While each team has its own character in the series, the Raiders are the first team in the NFL to bring one of the show's characters to life. He is basically a ginormous head.
Oh my God, it's
Oh
frightening.
my God.
That is the thing
How is that a
nightmares
youth
are made of.
ambassador? That's a
He's in a
terrifying.
cartoon.
Wait, who's who's the Lions character in the series?
I don't have a. Come on, Joel.
Okay, fine.
It's probably like
next
Lenny
week,
the
I'm looking all
Lion. It's
these up.
probably a gigantic human head.
The Raider Rusher will be formally introduced to about 100 local elementary school students on Tuesday afternoon at the Raiders facility in Alameda, California. That is, if the students don't run away screaming.
Yeah,
I would.
I think we have audio of that.
Yes, and.
The Raiders, who have never had a mascot quite like this, are hoping to use the Raider Rusher to get more kid-friendly. If you've ever watched a Raider game and seen what Raider fans look like, it is very NC-17. It's a post-apocalyptic white trash sex show with spiky shoulder pads.
Yeah, it's Mad Max. If that was also at a meeting of the Juggalos.
Yeah, actually,
Yeah.
that's surprisingly, yeah.
With an
Yeah.
S&M angle.
That's
Right.
the better bit.
Yeah.
We should have pitched on that earlier.
That's fine.
He's the latest addition to the Silver and Black's community relations roster, said team spokesman Mike Taylor, who probably should have added him to the team's actual roster because couldn't hurt.
They're bad, I guess.
They are quite bad. I
Ca-
find it funny that giant human head walking around with arms and legs coming out of it is not going to be the children's mascot is now going to be the most disturbing thing at Oakland Coliseum on Sundays.
Yeah,
It's about time.
The character will appear in Raiderville, the Raiders' interactive tailgate section at all home games, and be found inside.
How is a tailgate not
Because
ever
you're like
interactive?
drinking beers and you're eating
That's
hot
interactive.
dogs, and
That's
that's all
interactive.
interactive stuff.
He'll also be found inside the 3 kid zones, or as they're colloquially referred to, drop-off and drink daycare, located inside the O.Co Coliseum.
Can I go ahead and say I'm uncomfortable with us talking about how he's going to be found inside the 3 kids zones? That's just not a good way to put it.
Last time I was in a kid zone, I was blindfolded in the back of a van.
Northern California Youth Football League institutes penalties for teams that win by more than 35 points.
What?
Subheadline: Northern California reinforces popular preconceived notions about Northern California. The Northern California Federation Youth Football League, or the NCFYFL, the news story.
Catchy.
The news story used the acronym Layoff. Is a league of 7 to 13-year-olds, and they have instituted serious penalties for blowouts. So if you win by more than 35 points, the team will be fined $200, and the coaches will be suspended from all league activities for 2 weeks.
Stop
Holy
talking for a
crap.
second. So you're supposed to just stop playing after 35 points?
Well before that. You can't risk a defensive touchdown in there.
So no, but what's expected? Are they supposed to quit when they get ahead by 28 and just be like, we won, or are you supposed to just dog it for the rest of it?
I think the hopes is maybe that they'll put in second stringers who won't do as well.
That's not the
But
spirit of competition. This is America.
Are way better. Let me paint a picture here.
I am so glad you guys are more outraged than even I was.
Your team is up 34 points. You're a coach. You're sitting here, and then all of a sudden there's a fumble, and little Jimmy, the almost retarded kid on your team, scoops it up and starts running downfield with no one between him and the end zone. Are you saying, no, Jimmy, we don't have $200 to spend on your touchdown?
No, you got to shoot him with a bullet that costs less than $200.
Right, exactly.
And then it's a win.
Are you throwing the Gatorade container at your players?
Like
no,
Donkey
don't
Kong,
score!
like the barrels thrown over?
Because
Yeah.
they're also kids. How do you tell them not to score?
And
I thought we lived in America, but apparently I'm mistaken.
Was it
Yeah.
Timmy or Jimmy did we go with for this kid's name?
Jimmy.
Okay, Jimmy. And Jimmy, the only thing Jimmy ever remembered out of practice was scoop and score, scoop and score, scoop and score. The best part of this is every new rule or rule change happens for a reason. So what did the NCFYFL do before for teams who ran up the score?
Enjoy the game. Watch and eat a thing of popcorn.
It's actually
Except the fact that some teams suck.
It's actually even better. They issued teams with a warning and required a written description that detailed what the victorious team had done to try to keep the score low. So before this, if you beat a team that bad, you basically had to write a paper and explain what you had done to try to beat a team not that bad.
Honestly, pretty sensible. Like you beat a team
Pretty
by 45.
sensible?
You beat a team by like 45 points. You'd be like, listen, we put in the second stringers and then we put in the third stringers and we kept scoring points. And that's you can't expect me to tell them to go out there and not try their hardest because that would
run
be
on
ridiculous.
sentence check minus.
Similar penalties are occasionally installed by other youth leagues, but they usually don't kick in until disparity in the score is almost twice as much as 35 points. So most leagues have this penalty, but it's something like 70.
Yeah.
Obviously, teams are upset. The article notes that some players are afraid to score after they got a lead because they don't want their coaches to get suspended. Oh man, if coach is gonna have everyone running bleachers after the game if he gets suspended.
35 seems too small. Also, like if you're ahead by 35 at the first half, people could totally, in Tecmo Super Bowl world at least, people could totally come back from that.
I was about to say, from Phil's perspective, which is Tecmo Super Bowl, 35 is not a huge league.
YouTube.com/ComedyPodnet.
Right.
Real
perspective, 35 pretty big, but still, yes, not.
The
really
NCFYFL Deputy Commissioner Robert Rochin claims the rule is proactive attempt to keep the kids more interested in the sport while teaching others how to be good sports. We lose a lot of football players because teams lose so badly. He said if they're constantly getting beat, who wants to play anymore? We lose kids all season long because of that.
We perform sports. Shut up, Joel. We are doing sports in a free market sports thing, right? Like the sports leagues are the free market. And sometimes, you know what? You're not as good and you're going to lose. And either you're going to be strong and try to come back, or you're going to not make it in this world and you deserve to be a loser forever.
And honestly, a lesson that children kind of need to learn at some point.
Yes.
Like, I learned that lesson when I was pretty young.
And look at him now. He's learning that lesson every day
of what
of his
a
life.
loser I really am.
Detroit Lion receiver breaks arm in car crash involving foul pizza.
Oh,
gross.
God. I don't want to talk
Chicken
about this.
pizza.
In the most Detroit Lions news of the young NFL season, Nate Burleson was in a one-car accident because his passenger seat got a case of the dropsies.
What?
Wait for it.
It's a football joke.
Okay.
Basically, Nate Burleson's accident occurred because a pizza fell off his front seat at around 2:25 a.m., which led to the receiver breaking his arm in two places. Here's a part of the report. Burleson was driving a 2009 GMC Yukon SUV. I got to imagine highest trim.
Sure.
When he was distracted by pizza falling off his front seat, according to Michigan State Police Officer Lieutenant Michael Shaw. He lost control of the car and struck the center median wall.
What?
Burleson, who was wearing a safety belt, safety first, kids, was transported. You said ooh for a safety?
I said phew.
Oh, okay. He was transported by EMTs to a local hospital. The Lions confirmed there was no alcohol involved, and that's too bad because that goes really good with beer.
Sure does. Pizza. There it is. Alcohol does go well with beer, though, too.
But in reality, if that's the case, he's probably just super high.
Oh,
No,
yeah.
God, yes.
Getting a pizza at 2:25.
Oh, living in Michigan? Yeah.
This is a time when you don't ask yourself, like, this is the time to maybe get DiGiorno.
Yeah.
Right.
Because
Because it's not
Or
delivery.
alternatively,
Delivery,
I
so you're not
almost wonder
driving.
if there was a
Really,
pizza
delivery
place
or DiGiorno?
that delivered pizza. I mean, I know that would be sort of a rarity,
Well,
right?
I'll say this. At 2:30 in the morning, in not a college town, it might be difficult to
Yeah,
find
it
a
might
place
be
that
tricky.
delivered pizza.
You know what?
in
That's when you
Detroit.
just go to bed.
All right, Phil's gone to the Mexican place to get us some burritos, and now we want to welcome to the show, Glory.
Hey, how
welcome
y'all
to the microphones,
doing?
Glory.
How
Hey,
you
Glory.
doing?
Trying to make you feel at home.
I'm gonna
Yeah,
get this
feels
out of the
just
way.
like when I'm at the strip club.
Gotta get this out of the way right now.
Yeah.
Your name is Glory.
My name's Glory.
When you dance, do you dance to the song John Brown's Body?
I don't know what that is.
The chorus is Glory, Glory, Hallelujah.
I don't think that's a real song. That ain't nothing I heard before.
Okay,
It's
I'm
not,
making
Glory.
that
You're
up.
Yeah,
correct.
thank you.
So
It's
there was
a real song.
so there was a huge brawl on a Baltimore Ravens party bus.
Oh, yeah.
And the article kind of just threw in there to mention that there was a stripper on
It
the bus.
threw me under the party bus.
Oh,
That's what it did. I'm trying to be a stand-up comedian as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Sometimes after the club closes, I just go up there and I just talk
Okay.
like stand-up comedians do. Like that Louis C.K., he just goes up there, he just talks, and people go, he doesn't even have to take his clothes off. This is still
Honestly, yeah,
entertainment.
the one group of people with lower self-esteem than strippers.
What you trying to say?
Maybe stand-up comedians.
I find that offensive.
I find it offensive too. Joel, behave.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I was on the party bus, and there was a huge fight that broke out. I got a couple of hits to the eye, but they didn't really mean it.
Oh my God, they hit
Whoa!
you?
Yeah, a couple
that's-
rogue fists came up. Me
Oh,
right
it
at
was
the
not
head.
not intentional,
Not
right? I would
intentional.
hope.
They were
Or
fighting each
not,
other.
She got punched.
They had alcohol. I tell
Totally
you, these were the
unacceptable.
nicest football players I ever met.
Wait,
what?
What?
They
Yeah, they
punched
were
you.
so well behaved. They only had one brawl all night long. There was only
but
one major
big brawl
fight.
that involves the police.
Huge brawl. It got written up in the
Yeah,
news.
there was only a couple people that went to the hospital. It wasn't even that bad.
Wait, what?
Well, wait. Well, why do you think they're so well behaved? What is your prior
Have
experience?
you ever gone partying with football players?
No, I have not.
No,
Football
not even in
players.
high school.
You would know what I'm talking about. The Baltimore, they were gentlemen. There was one time, all right, where me and 3 of my girls, they were hired to go do a Super Bowl party.
What were
Okay.
their names?
My 3 girls?
Yeah, all of
They
them.
were named Hallelujah.
Okay.
Yep.
And then the other one was named Big Win. And then the other one was named Cinnamon Brownie.
Cinnamon Brownie, Big Win, and Hallelujah.
Yep, Cinnamon Brownie, Big Win, Hallelujah. We all got hired to do this Super Bowl party. I am the only one that came out alive.
What?
Yeah.
2 people
Football
lost?
players included.
Oh my God.
Yep, they all dead. Do you remember there was one season when the Detroit Lions they went 0-16 and then they came back and
I
started
do remember
winning?
that.
That's because all of them are dead. Everybody who was on that team for that season's dead now.
I remember watching that season.
Nope, they're all dead because they were at the Super Bowl party watching other people in the Super Bowl, and they were like, we're going to kill each other. They all just killed each other and my stripper friends. I got up. I was covered in blood. And I got up and I went, where's my bra top? I got to get out of here.
You didn't just... I mean, I would have left the bra top. That sounds terrible. A
Oh,
mass
that would
murder?
be embarrassing.
That'd be really embarrassing.
I'm not
Joel.
getting out of there without my bra
She-
top.
I mean, in fairness, she's a stripper.
I got
so
stand. I do it for money. Do you go writing blogs outside in public? No, you don't. You'd be embarrassed.
I've never gotten paid for writing a blog. So
Whatever
He'd
you
be
write.
embarrassed to blog, I think, inside.
Yeah, Jordan, do you get coffee for people without getting money?
No,
I
absolutely
would not recommend. See, he doesn't do his job either without getting
right,
money for it.
okay.
That's damn right.
I don't give it away for free. It's
Uh,
a dangerous game to be stripping for NFL players.
sounds
so
like an
it's so
incredibly
nice to meet
dangerous
people with
game.
manners.
Well,
for
I'm
once.
glad you met the Baltimore Ravens, who apparently were much nicer than
They
a
were
Super Bowl
so
party
nice.
where everyone
After
died.
I got punched in the face, one of them said, "Oh, you all right?" And I said, "Yeah." And then he went and punched someone else in the face instead of punching me again.
Oh, that's nice of him.
It was very nice.
I feel pretty terrible though. That's really the.
Well, it's
I mean,
an
is that the
accident,
standard
Joel.
for kindness? That's
Oh,
been
I
set,
got
that
a
she doesn't
story.
accidentally get hit in the face.
Do you want to hear another story about another person from the NFL?
I'm
Yeah.
a little disturbed.
All right, I was at Joe Montana's 70th birthday party.
Joe Montana, classically a very stand-up
Yes,
guy.
all Hall of Famers. Every single person there was in the Football Hall of Fame. They left their wives at home because there were strippers there.
Okay,
Right.
as one
I
would.
follow this.
At one point, they said, "Let's have a toast," and everyone started saying, "Toast, toast, toast," right? And then Joe Montana stood up to give a toast. Immediately, one of his friends, I think his name was Emmett stood up, and he said, "No, I'm going to make a toast first." Joe Montana stabbed him to death with his glass. He did not break it first. He just threw it with such velocity into his chest that it stabbed him to death. And I went, "That's excessive. Don't do that at your party."
How were they tipping at that one?
How were they tipping?
Yeah.
They don't tip me. They tell me to get out of there before I hurt myself.
Oh, jeez.
First they released lions, and then I got to run away.
Oh my God, this is awful.
Football players are violent.
This
Those
really,
Baltimore-
this really pulls back the curtain on some of my favorite Hall of Famers, and I must say I'm
Absolutely.
really disappointed.
Which Hall of Famer was Emmett again?
I don't know. His name was M. I don't follow. He wasn't wearing a name on the back of his jersey.
All right, well, Glory, thanks for coming in. Thanks.
Oh,
for...
can I tell one more quick story?
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I am
guess.
actually dead right now because I went on a date with a football player right before this. He literally killed me to death. It was when I answered my door, too.
What happened when you entered your door? Where'd she go? Oh my God, she was a ghost. Joining us again, one of our absolute favorite guests.
I would say my favorite guest.
Yeah, longtime friend of the podcast, the one, the only, Kris Humphries.
To be honest, you guys are flattering me. You didn't even say okay or all right before my intro. I appreciate
we
that.
We almost never say okay or all right, so.
That's true. I don't know where I got that from.
I think you're 10 times better than okay and 100 times better than all right.
You guys are flattering me. I'm not used to this. Usually people are like, Kris Humphries, you're a stupid idiot.
No,
Yeah,
who
I
says
do.
that?
Everybody.
No.
Everybody except for the two of you.
No, I don't believe that for
Well,
1
that's
second.
believable.
I'm excited to be here today. You know why?
Why is that,
Because
Kris?
it's an exciting time to be here.
It is an exciting time. It's a new season.
It
Absolutely.
is. It's a new fall season of television, and as
Yeah.
per usual, I
Oh.
got the poop on the fall television
I
lineup.
really wish you'd change that.
I really don't
No,
like
there's so much poop inside
Yeah.
of this toilet bowl of television.
New
I can't
episodes,
wait to share it with you.
New episodes of Keeping Up with the Kardashians.
Yes, that
I
is my ex-wife.
Don't know
We're-
why I said that.
We're focusing on new shows, not
I'm
shows
so
that are
sorry.
coming
Yes,
back.
that show has already been on. Now Ryan Seacrest is also doing Totally Divas, which is way better because I'm not married and divorced to any of them.
It's okay.
Have you guys seen some of these trailers? They're hilarious.
I've seen some promos and billboards
Oh
around
yeah,
town.
Jordan Pomaville, which ones have you seen?
Well, I mean, the Goldbergs.
The Goldbergs.
It's pretty
That's
inescapable.
a funny show.
Wait a second. Have you only watched trailers for? Actually, that makes sense because trailers are like
They're like
commercials
little
for a show.
commercials
Yeah.
and they're funny.
Okay.
But I can get everything that I need to know out of a trailer. Like the Goldbergs is about a bunch of people in the 80s who are also Jewish. And there's one guy who's fat who doesn't play any sports.
Okay, right.
Yeah.
Are you excited for that one?
You know what? I'm going to put it on my new meter that I am putting up, my new ratings meter. I give this one 3 poops.
oh, Kris.
All right.
This one's
Oh,
3 poops.
Kris.
You want to know out of how many? 3.
All right. Now, okay, moving on. Now, the Goldbergs is
It's because I got the poop.
Why? We know. Why 3 poops?
Because it was hilarious. There was a fat guy who doesn't even exercise.
No. I mean, why is 3 poops the most poops that you can
Whoa,
give?
whoa. Why do
Oh.
you assume that?
Because he
We
said
don't-
it's out of 3.
Oh,
It is out of 3. What have you been drinking? Alcohol?
no. Let's move on.
All right. There's another show called Mom.
I was going to say, the Goldbergs are a family. There's a lot of shows about families, it seems.
You know why?
Why?
Because whether you're an orphan or not, everybody's got a family.
All right. So you watched Mom?
No, I watched the trailer for Mom.
Right.
And then I also back-to-back watched the trailer for Dads.
What?
Yeah, there's 2 shows coming out that are about parental units. As they say in the Coneheads. That movie was hilarious. To be honest, I think all the Saturday Night Live movies are perfect.
No.
Even
There's a lot of...
Superstar and
And it's Pat the movie.
yeah.
Is she a boy or a girl? I must be a girl because I said she. Anyways, Mom and Dad, I was thinking the whole time of watching those 2 trailers back to back, to be honest, they should just get together. They could be Modern Family.
Yeah.
Yeah, Modern Family is a successful show.
Are you a polygamous marriage between the 2 dads and the
I don't
mom?
understand. Is that like the people in Australia?
I think some people in Australia
Yes.
are polygamous.
I saw Brooklyn Nine-Nine's trailer.
All right. That's
Okay.
a workplace comedy.
Yeah,
Tell us about that.
It's got Lazy Sunday and then a bunch of other people in it.
Oh, Adam
Andy Sandberg. Not
Yeah,
Lazy
it's
Sunday
got
is not
Lazy
his name.
Sunday in it. And
Not
he's
his
a
name.
police officer. And he's like, freeze. And they're like, no, you're a comedian. And they go, I know. It looks perfect. I give it 3 poops out of 3.
That's actually a pretty good log line.
Yeah. He's like, I used to be on Saturday Night Live. Now I got a gun. Like, that's edgy.
That's very edgy.
It's an edgy show. You know what else I saw the ad for?
What'd you say?
The Crazy Ones.
The crazy one.
That looks crazy.
Well, Robin Williams is in that one,
It's got
right?
Genie from Aladdin, and it's got other people who I don't know. Genie from Aladdin, though, he's like, I got light bulbs for eyes. Now I got light bulbs for ears. This is crazy.
I think that's just the billboard.
Yeah, I feel like that's maybe just the
Now I
billboard.
got light bulbs on my forehead. What other wacky things can I do with these light bulbs?
Well, before we go to like dramas, can I ask you about one of the most hype ones because it contains returning television and movie star Michael J. Fox.
Oh, Michael J.
Oh,
Fox.
right.
He has the Michael J. Fox show. It's coming
I
back.
saw that one. I saw the previews for that one.
Yeah.
I have to admit, I think that lead actor is not ready for his own show. He looked
already
all
had
nervous
his own
and shaky
show.
the entire time.
Oh, Chris.
No, he was so nervous to be on camera.
No, Chris, Michael J.
I did not
Fox-
think that's funny. I only give that 2.5 poops.
No, okay, that's... Wait, you don't think it's funny, but you're giving
I
it
didn't
2.5
even laugh
poops?
at all. I felt bad for the guy. I
What
gave him
on earth
2.5
does
poops.
one have to do to get 1 poop?
To be honest, nobody gets 1 poop because I love television.
Wait,
and I
what's
got
the phrase?
Poop on.
I don't give 2 shits about something?
Hey, watch your language. That could have been a lady present.
Okay,
You
I
haven't
gotcha.
checked the closet.
Listen, speaking of watching your language, Michael J. Fox, a very public sufferer of Parkinson's disease. Any shaking that
Looks
you
like
saw,
he's got the heebie-jeebies disease.
that's not
Because he's shaky.
Boy.
Even his face is shaky. He's got public speaking nerves.
No,
That's not the-
no.
that's not the case at
I
all,
mean, he has
Chris.
Parkinson's. And
To
he's-
be
he's
honest,
doing
there's a bunch of great dramas coming out, too.
What?
Oh, I
Okay.
don't even laugh at dramas. I enjoy them for the suspense.
Well, tell me what are some
Yeah,
of the
so
there
What's
are
the most
guys.
suspenseful shows?
Yeah,
Is that what you're looking for?
absolutely.
Oh, well, there's one coming out called The Blacklist.
Oh, James Spader's in that.
Oh, James Spader? Oh, James Spader looks crazy in this show, though.
Yeah.
To be honest, he looks like he's a bad guy, but he's also the lead, which makes me go, who am I supposed to support?
That's a very
Yeah.
it puts you, the viewer, in a very confusing, conflicting position.
He's a bad guy, but he's helping good guys catch other bad guys.
It's like a reverse Breaking Bad.
Oh, Breaking Bad suspenseful.
It is.
I give it 3.5 poops.
I thought you said 3 was the most poops that one could have.
It is. That's how good it is.
Oh.
Oh, do you think Skylar White's crazy? I think she's not. Other shows that are coming out, there's Hostages.
yeah.
Yeah.
what is
To
Hostages
be honest,
about?
it kind of reminded me of my failed marriage.
Why
There
is
was
that?
That you were a hostage?
There's always producers going, smile for the camera, smile for the camera, smile for the camera. And I go, I just want to be married to this beautiful lady who I'm going to love forever.
I'm
But
sorry
you
that
didn't.
didn't work out.
It
Chris.
made me sad. The marriage gets 1/2 poops. The show gets 3 poops.
It looks like a good show.
Wow, wait. You gave your marriage 1/2 of a poop?
Yeah, it was not a good marriage.
That's an
It did not last
astonishing
long.
low number of poops.
Very low number.
My racist comment a moment ago only got 1
Was
poop.
that a racist comment?
It
Go fuck
was.
yourself.
Yeah, fair
That makes
enough.
me very angry.
Fair enough.
All right, there's a couple of real spooky shows coming out.
Really? Like
One's
what?
called Dracula.
What?
One's called Sleepy Hollow.
Ooh.
In Dracula and Sleepy Hollow, there's big crazy monsters. Those big crazy monsters are like, ooh, I'm this Halloween.
I'd have to
Very
say, though,
odd thing to say. I mean,
Oh,
I
the
feel like-
you should see the commercials for it. They're not even funny. I never
No.
even laughed once.
I'll say this, though. I like Dracula more than I like Sleepy Hollow. in
Have you
terms
ever
of the
seen
trailer.
Dracula Dead and Loving It?
No.
It's hilarious.
I've
It's
seen
Mel
Dracula.
Brooks.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
Liam
right.
Neeson's like, I'm crazy. And it's funny.
No, but I thought the Dracula trailer was head and shoulders above the Sleepy Hollow
I
trailer.
thought Head and Shoulders was a shampoo.
It
Now I'm
is.
just confused. But I have to talk about my favorite drama of the
What's
year.
your favorite drama of the year?
All right. This one gets 7.5 poops out of 3.
Oh my god!
Why? Because it's as good as 3 shows, so it gets 7.5.
Makes sense.
That's an okay rating.
It's
for
called
3 shows.
Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Ooh.
Oh, to be honest, this is just like watching The Avengers, only it's a television show.
Well, that sounds pretty exciting. The Avengers was a very popular,
Yeah.
big summer blockbuster.
So they're in the world of superheroes,
right.
but none of these people have superpowers.
What the hell are they doing then?
They're agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
That doesn't
doesn't
sound very
sound-
Oh,
exciting.
it's exciting because you can imagine what those other superheroes must be doing in this world. Like, they must be having so much fun right off camera. I just get lost in a fantasy land of my own creation.
So you're saying
Isn't that like a normal day for you, Chris?
7.5 stars.
Stars?
What? Well, that's Kris Humphries, and I got the poop on the fall television premiere.
We really should change that name.
Check your
Thank-
local listings.
Thank you very much, Chris. Pleasure as always to have you on the show.
And now it's time for another Weird Sports! Weird Sports.
And
What
it's
do you
true.
got?
Everyone does love weird sports.
This week's Weird Sport, Chariot Racing.
I don't know if that's weird. I mean, that was very
That
popular
sounds
for a long
like
time.
a biblical event.
Nope, it was a sport, and it's way weird. Have you gone chariot racing or watched chariot racing on television
I've
recently?
not gotten down to the
Oh,
hippodrome
it must be
in a
pretty
while.
strange then.
I've only seen it in movies.
Yeah, are they doing it now?
Let's get to that. Chariot racing was one of the most popular ancient Greek, Roman, and Byzantine sports. The Byzantine Empire, very big, very dead.
It was like the NASCAR of Rome.
Often overlooked. We always talk about Greco-Roman. We're never saying Greco-Roman Byzantine.
Right. Yeah, but because Byzantine was like a sub-empire of the Roman Empire.
They would not like that.
No, they wouldn't.
That's
if
like
we're
saying
being
that
honest.
Joel is a sub-host and Phil and Jordan are the hosts of the Sports podcast.
Isn't
You'd
that
be
what-
pretty
that's,
offended.
That's kind of what we do, though, isn't it?
Not that. Well, I'd like to think the Sports Outsider is the one of these things are not like the other.
That's true, but that's why I'm the sub-host. Let's...
Chariot racing was often dangerous to both driver and horse,
Yep, saw Ben-Hur.
as they frequently suffered serious injury and even death.
Yep.
Because you saw Ben-Hur. But generated strong spectator enthusiasm.
Well, yeah, as
If
it
the
would.
threat of death, the stakes are never higher.
Yeah. Most sports that involve the threat of death do generate major spectator enthusiasm.
Especially in the Greco-Roman Byzantine empires.
Joel thinks he knows everything about the sport. Well, did you know this, Joel? It was one of the Olympic events.
Really?
Yeah.
Wait, in ancient Greece.
In the ancient
Not
Olympic
one of the
Games.
modern Olympic events.
No, it was in the ancient, the real Olympics.
Yeah.
When they liked the Olympics before it was cool. In the ancient Olympic Games, as well as the other Pan-Hellenic Games.
The hipster Olympics is what we're saying.
Yeah, the Hip Olympics. The sport was one of the most important equestrian events. Each chariot was pulled by 4 horses. Just like the apocalypse. It's going to be pulled by 4 horses. Then they're going to take our souls. Jesus will come down.
I thought it was the 4 horsemen of the
Yeah,
apocalypse.
they show up.
Each on
first.
individual
They're not
horses,
pulling
but
in the
not-
apocalypse.
No, they're pulling in Jesus on a
Well,
chariot,
you
aren't
could,
they?
if you were making a metaphor, you could be like the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse.
There are
pulling the
no
chariot
metaphors
of-
in the Bible, Joel. Everything is very literal. We've been
Speaking
through
of
this.
literal, in the Roman form of chariot racing, teams represented different groups of financial backers and sometimes competed for the services of a particularly skilled driver.
Okay, so it's more like the Tour de France than like American sports.
I have no frame of reference.
Or like a rigged NASCAR.
that one I
Oh,
understand.
NASCAR same way. That it's like in Tour de France, the teams are named after their sponsor.
Yeah, or
It's
like
Team
Orb.
Saxo Bank
Orb
and-
the horse is owned by the rich dude.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, one of
But
those.
in that, it's like an individual owner. It's not so much a company sponsoring.
Yeah, these teams became the focus of intense support among spectators, and occasional disturbances broke out between followers of different factions. You know what that means? People getting stabbed, y'all.
I'm sure Glory would have fit in well back in the day.
I don't understand the reference. The conflicts sometimes become politicized as the sport began to transcend the races themselves and started to affect society overall.
Oh my.
Yeah.
How?
Because different rich backers, people would take sides on the rich backers, and then they're also the ones that controlled government. So it'd be like if Barack Obama and Mitt Romney each had horses in the race.
Mitt Romney does own horses, actually.
Mitt Romney's horses would be doing like fruity little foot stepping, and they would lose
they
by
do like
so much.
they do like just like tricky.
Yeah, and Barack Obama's horse would be doing fruity little horse steppings, but you wouldn't be allowed to say that because he's a Democrat. Right? My political beliefs just came out. The sport faded in the importance of the fall of Rome in the West, surviving only for a time in the Byzantine Empire, where the traditional Roman factions continued to play a prominent role for some time, gaining influence in political matters.
Note how they phrase that: traditional Roman factions in the Byzantine Empire.
Okay.
Just saying.
What's your point?
Yeah, I don't understand.
The
Where are you going with that,
Byzantine
Joel?
Empire doesn't. Right.
Are you saying that the Byzantine Empire has people on Wikipedia who are trying to bring it down?
I don't know that there are, but
Tell me more about this chariot racing.
Let's talk about how exactly early chariot racing took place.
okay.
Please.
There were big spikes in the sides of the wheels, right?
I mean, yeah. Why? Because you saw it on Ben-Hur?
Yep.
Okay.
And Gladiator.
It is unknown exactly where chariot racing began.
Hippodromes. Oh, began.
Joel, you always think you know more than Wikipedia. You can never
No.
compete with Wikipedia because it's the knowledge of the people.
No, it's not that I think I know more. It's that I'm willing to offer up things that are probably wrong with more frequency than other people.
It may have been as old as chariots themselves.
It's
Whoa.
entirely possible.
Whoa. Chariots were invented the next day. They went,
Hey, let's race these things.
We should have two of them see which one's fastest.
Well, no,
Yeah.
we got this so we could get buckets of water.
They're like, no,
not to race.
We have to see who has the biggest penis. We can only know by racing these chariots.
My water bucket carrier is way faster than your water bucket
Now,
carrier.
you wait a minute. I just got this water bucket carrier, and he's backed by Napa Know-How.
It is known from artistic evidence on pottery that the sport existed in the Mycenaean world. Yep, that's their history. They didn't have books.
Can I just say, I think artistic evidence in pottery, maybe as far as historical markers go, people paint all sorts of weird shit. What if someday down the line, the 20th century is remembered by Picasso paintings? They're not going to be able to figure much out.
I'll say this, case in point, I was at the Getty Villa last weekend, and I was looking
Name
at
dropper.
ancient pottery.
Yeah.
Name dropper again. And one of the ancient pots, painted the Greco-Roman Byzantine Empire, was a man throwing up.
That's awesome.
And
I
it was
want
like,
that
and it was
pot.
like he had like a wine jug on one side, and he was just throwing up. And of course, the description was man throwing up.
That's awesome. I want to pay $1 million for that painting.
Who would ever paint that? On the side of a pot.
Well, if it was like a wine, I think it was like a wine pot or wine jug.
Oh,
So
it's
it's
like
like
the equivalent of when Budweiser's like, drink Budweiser responsibly.
Yeah.
And that brings it on to another Weird Sports!
Citizens of Podcast Town, this brings to the close another Sports podcast. But before we go, Phil would like to give you our contact information.
You can email us at sportspodcast@gmail.com. That's sportspodcast@gmail.com. You can tweet at us at sports3podcast. That's at sports3podcast. You can find us on Facebook by searching Sports Podcast in your little top bar thingy. You can find us on Stitcher Radio. Download the Stitcher app today at stitcher.com and search for Sports Podcast. You can find us on YouTube by going to youtube.com/comedypodnet. And while you're there, please check out Phil Ranta playing Tecmo Super Bowl as the 1991 Detroit Lions. It's amazingly exciting. You can find us on iTunes by searching Sports 3, all one word, Space Podcast. That's Sports 3, all one word, Space Podcast. While you're there, please rate and review. And for all the back episodes, go to comedypodcastnetwork.com.
Hey, guys, you see out in the lobby?
Nope.
Kris, Humphries, and Glory have been talking, and I think they're really hitting it off. They like all the same commercials.
That makes sense because he loves hookers.
You brought the mood down. Lights off.
You have received this transmission from the Comedy Podcast Network. For more shows, visit comedypodcastnetwork.com.